A couple of Cuckoos season 2 has just wrapped up and it was very interesting. Let's talk about it. Alright, what's up y'all? Hope y'all doing good. Today we have another romance anime review for you. A couple of Cuckoos season 2 has just wrapped up. I watched it and I have some things to say about it, and so we're gonna talk about it here today. It's a review. I appreciate the love I've gotten on the very few uploads I've gotten on this channel. I want to have more uploads and all that stuff, but I also don't want to, I feel like, wear myself out a little bit. So, but we're still going to keep on the, one romance anime review per week as I keep watching the shows from the new season and all that stuff. But yeah, a couple of Cuckoos season 2 is out. I watched season 1 when it came out. Season 1 released back in 2022 with 24 episodes, and honestly, I liked it. I thought it was solid. It was decent. We had some good moments in it. I thought it was kind of maybe underrated, and I was excited for this season 2 release. And I watched season 2, and again, I have some interesting things said about it. It was very weird, as you can see from the title. And yeah, we're going to talk about it here today. So if you don't know anything about this show, I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis before we get into it. Basically, the main hook to get you into watching the show is two families had a baby, and they're swapped at birth. Somehow, I guess the nurses or doctor or whatever swapped the two kids at birth, so now both of these kids grew up with the wrong parents and wrong families. Then when they turned 17, the parents finally said to them, hey, so you're not actually our kid, you're someone else's kid, and oh, by the way, also, you have an arranged marriage with that other person as well. So yeah, imagine that bomb getting dropped on you. That's basically like the main idea of the show and how we get to the points that we get to. But yeah, now let's actually get into reviewing season 2 of the show. So this review is probably going to be a lot different from the first two reviews I've done in My Dress Up Darling season 2 and The Flagrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Because in those two shows, we focus on just one romance between two main characters. This show, we have one guy, 4 girls. So usually I start with like giving the key moments for the romance and then go into more of like the themes and all that stuff. But this show, it's not just one romance. We have to follow 4 different romances with these girls. So I would literally be here for 2 hours talking about all of the key moments. So instead, we're going to just divide them up into character by character. So we're going to talk about the characters individually and how I feel about them and some of their key moments as well first. The first character starting off with is Nagi, our MC, our protagonist. He was the one that was swapped at birth. He went to a family that owned a diner, a restaurant. They're very prideful in this restaurant, but they're also very laid back, easygoing, a lot of fun, kind of chill parents, while he is like the exact opposite. He is a bookworm, a nerd. I mean, he honestly pays more attention to study supplies than he does to actual other people. Doesn't have too many friends. He's not a very social person. He has some sort of a spine sometimes, but not really. But for me, I feel like he also kind of has a little bit of a low emotional IQ. Like, I just feel like he's not really a people person. I feel like he doesn't really do a good job of, seeing other people's feelings and kind of thinking about other people's feelings. I think he's kind of selfish in some ways. He's also annoying. He feel like every episode he's into one of the arguments with one of the girls. He always is yelling at somebody for some reason, always getting yelled at for some reason. Honestly, he's not a very likable main character. He's not one of those main characters that's like, oh man, that's my guy. He's such a cool, sweet guy, like we have in the other first 2 shows. He's kind of annoying, and there's a lot of times where it's like, bro, you're a big idiot. But I guess we kind of have to deal with him because he's our main character. So yeah, but again, not very likable. Now getting into the 4 girls. And before that, I should preface this by saying something. And I think this is going to determine how the rest of this review is going to go in your eyes. I personally am not really a harem guy, right? I'm not really a fan of the harem genre in shows. I don't know what it is. It's just something about it that I just am not a fan of one guy having the infinity stones of girls, of like, oh man, these 7 women are all into me and I have to choose. Oh no. It just didn't really hit for me, personally. I just don't really like it. I don't know what it is. I don't have a real explanation for it. It's just not me. So again, keep that in mind during this review, because maybe that influences some of the things I'm about to say about this show and some of the characters. The first girl we're starting with is Erica. She's the main girl. She's the one that was swapped at birth with Nagi. And she goes to a very different family than Nagi because she is a rich girl. Her father's a famous hotel tycoon, so he has a lot of money, owning a lot of hotels. And her mom is a producer and works in the entertainment industry. So she had a lot of money growing up. And you can see from episode 1 and some of the moments early on in the season, she's relying a lot on her parents, relying a lot on her money. She also is a influencer, I guess. She posts pictures on Instagram because she's really pretty and a lot of people like those photos. But we also see throughout the entire show that her main, I guess, goal is trying to become independent. She wants to become someone that doesn't have to rely on her parents. There's a lot of times where she wants to show that she doesn't need her mom or her dad. She'll do this her own way. She wants to make her own decisions, do her own things in life, you know. We also see, I feel like her, compared to the other 3 girls, she's probably the best friend out of all of them. I think maybe the most sweetest and wholesome of the other girls. Like, I really like her a lot. I like her character a lot. The only thing is that, again, I like her. I'm a fan of her. Honestly, I think her and Nagi probably have the best relationship, and she's the one I want the main character to end up being with at the end of the day. I like her a lot, but I feel like I don't like her as much as I should like her. And that's not on a her thing. That's not her as a character. That's because I feel like this show doesn't give her enough attention and as many moments as she should get. Because again, you think about this show, she is the main girl. She's the main character. She is the fiance of the main character, meaning she should be #1 girl, getting the most attention and moments and all that stuff. Yeah, when you watch the show, you don't feel like that. Like, we go multiple episodes with her not even really being the main, like, character. And she's more relegated to a background role. And it's really weird because, again, she's the main girl. Like, if I showed people this show and didn't give them anything of her being swapped with the main character, her being engaged with the main character, and saying that she was the main girl, and I just put the show out, and you would say, all right, who do you think #1 girl is? You wouldn't say Erica. Seeing how they portray everybody in the show, she feels more like a #2 than a #1. You know, the #2 girl, sometimes you have competition. #2 is more like, you know, she's not gonna win, but she just provides competition, provides cute moments. She's more of a #2 than a #1. And it's very, very odd. But then you can also say that about all the other girls in the show too. I feel like in the show, no one feels like a #1. No one feels like a #1 girl, that like the main girl. And I guess maybe that's with the thinking of, you know, the writers want to keep everybody on their toes, being like, hey, you never know who's gonna win. You know, you never know. Maybe she's #1. Maybe she can win. Who knows? But realistically, we kind of all know that Erica is going to be the winner of this at the end of the day. And I feel like maybe this is with all harem shows. Again, I don't watch a lot of harem shows, so maybe this is normal. But no one is #1. Everybody kind of gets their own, I guess, attention, but no one gets the main attention. And again, it's probably because they want to keep all options open. But I feel like you can still kind of do that while giving Erica the attention she deserves. That's all I want. I just want Erica to have more attention and get more love in this show. Because again, they treat her like a background character a lot of times when we know she's the opposite of that. Some key moments that happen with her in the show. We have to go right to episode 2 because she doesn't really get a moment at all in episode 1. Stop, wait a minute. Editing me post this video. She actually does have a moment in episode 1. Somehow I completely forgot about it. Her and Nagi actually do have a conversation about the potential arranged marriage, to where she's kind of a little bit more open to it, but she's kind of using the excuse of, well, I don't want to make my parents mad, so maybe we could just do it. You know, why not? And kind of is having second thoughts about the arranged marriage. I don't know how I forgot about this scene because it's literally one of the first things that happened in this show, but somehow I forgot about it. So yeah, clearing that up now. All right, back to the actual video. In episode 2, she saves Nagi and Hiro, one of the girls we're going to talk about in a minute, from running away and eloping together. And while Nagi's in a tough situation, not knowing what to do, he kind of didn't really have a plan. He just went gung-ho about the situation. He immediately tried to contact Erica for some help without even thinking, you know. And so she comes in, kind of helps calm and save the situation. And eventually at the end, when her and Nagi are walking home together, Erica kind of jokingly says, "Ha, you rely on me," which was a very kind of cute moment in the show. But that's her first moment. We get it at the end of episode 2. In episode 3, Nagi basically kind of teaches her what love is, because Erica never really had like a lot of love and boyfriends and all that stuff, you know, apparently before. So Nagi kind of teaches her about love. And we get little cute moments of like, oh, does Erica love Nagi if, you know, her blushing at him? In episode 4, she gets into a dark competition with another girl we're going to talk about in a minute, for kind of Nagi's love, even though Erica doesn't say it's for Nagi's love, it's more for But for Erica, it's like if she wins, she just wants to leave her alone and get out of the house, because it's her house and she just kind of invaded on the house. But we also get a moment in there where they're asking each other questions with darts. And for the last dart for Erica, says, all right, well, if you make this throw bullseye, that means you like Nagi. And she just throws it, and Erica hits the bullseye, which means she loves Nagi, but yet no one acknowledges it at all. Because why would you? In episode 5, she helps Nagi escape the press. We're going to talk about why he has press on him. Erica helps him escape the press. They go to a park, and he kind of lets Nagi vent about all the things that are going on. It was a nice moment to see her kind of help him with all the stress he's been dealing with over the last couple of days. And we even get a cute moment between them where Nagi yells and jumps off the swing, and then Erica jumps along with him and says like, hey, like, your problems are my problems too, because we're engaged. But they kind of also ruined the moment a little bit with fan service. And that's a big thing with him too, with the writers in the show. The most fan service for anybody is with Erica. And it's really weird, because I feel like they ruin a lot of her great moments with just giving a random fan service shot. And it's like, that was unnecessary. Why do you have to do that? Why is it only Erica that gets a lot of these moments? I don't really understand, but the show just does that. I don't know why. One of the big, and I guess more important moments of this series is episode 6, when Erica's mom goes over to Erica and Nagi's house unexpectedly, and she asks them, hey, so are y'all guys like, you know, boinking or whatever? They say, of course not. And so Erica's mom kidnaps them, puts them in the top of a hotel room, and locks them in there for 2 weeks until they do something. Because, yeah. And so we're going through Erica and Nagi kind of being really flustered and kind of weirded out by the situation in the hotel room. We get a lot more fan service shots, but we also get some good moments from Erica, because what Erica is thinking is that her mom put her in there as a test, because, again, she relies a lot on her mom. So she would just try to hope to cry and eventually find a way out of that situation like that, taking the easy way out, relying on someone else. So Erica's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to stay in here, because I told them I don't need them. And if they want to keep me in here, okay, cool. You can keep me in here. I'm comfortable. You know, you say 2 weeks. All right, sure. I'm not going to do what you want, but I'm going to be here for 2 weeks. Why not? And we get some nice moments between her and Nagi, them getting a little bit more comfortable around each other. Then we go to episode 7, when sneaks into the hotel room to try to help Nagi escape. And eventually and Erica get into a little bit of argument on, you know, the future, and if Erica is going along with her parents or not. And kind of having this whole marriage plan with Nagi, and they get into a little spat. And Erica has a good line in this episode where she says marriage doesn't guarantee happiness. And she talks about her family, because her parents are still together, but they're not really happy because they both have work and they're very busy and never get time together. And so her just talking about marriage and stuff, I think it was a good line and good perspective from her. But then we get to the last couple episodes, episode 10, 11, and 12, where things actually matter now, and where she actually gets her shine finally. In episode 10, she was going to pair up with Nagi for the M1. The M1 is a competition that this school does at the end of the culture festival. It's basically like an after-school party who could put on the best entertainment and show. And the winner gets free lunch ticket vouchers or whatever. And so Erica was going to team up with Nagi for the M1 until Hiro comes in and steals the show. But then eventually they do end up pairing together, and Nagi and Erica kind of make up a plan for the M1 that they think is really going to work. And so first they're going around the culture festival with each other, just, you know, eating stuff, playing games, having fun, all that. And then before the M1 competition, they're sitting on the roof and they're having a conversation, and Nagi is just really adamant on knowing, like, we're going to win this competition. I know we're going to win. We're going to win this show. And Erica kind of says to him, hey, that's the first time I ever found you attractive. Which was, ooh, spicy moment. They go to the M1 and they bomb, because their goal of the show was, let's tell everybody that we were swapped at birth. They were inspired by that because apparently Hiro got an old video of the M1 competitions that won. And one of the winners was Erica's mom and dad. Erica's mom was on the stage and she confessed to Erica's dad in front of everybody, but he turned her down. And that won the competition.
Sure.
And so they were inspired by it and said, hey, let's do something similar. Let's tell everybody that we were swapped at birth. And that's it. Nothing else. Nothing at all. Not even the engagement part, nothing. And so they bomb atomically. Everybody boos him and all that stuff. And one guy gets a little bit too out of his head. He gets up on stage. He's like, y'all are liars and all that stuff. And Nagi actually stares up for Erica, saying, hey, don't call her a liar. Don't do that. So eventually to a point where he punches the guy and they get into a fight and they have to break up. And Nagi is suspended for a couple of days from school. So while Nagi's in his room, kind of mad that he's suspended, Erica comes in with food. They have a little conversation and Erica kisses him. Finally, we get a big moment in this show. Then after the kiss, they come in and they both are trying to like justify it. Kind of like, what happened? Why did I do that? Why did we do that? What was it for? And eventually they end up justifying it with the fact that earlier, a couple episodes earlier, Nagi got kissed by another girl with Erica there. And Erica says, oh yeah, I guess that kiss inspired me because I don't want anyone to take you away from me. Kind of a confession. Then we go to the finale, episode 12, where we start with the other girls knowing that Erica and Nagi kiss, and the girls are trying to gaslight Erica into what that kiss was, saying, oh, it's for this reason, oh, it's just for that reason, it doesn't really matter. But Erica doesn't really fall for it. In fact, it actually kind of helps her understand her feelings a little bit more, because later, apparently she's outside talking to her dad on the phone. Nagi ends up coming around just on a whim, and Erica says, I'm in love with him. A confession. Nagi then confesses back a little while later to Erica's disappointment because it's too soon for this. And then eventually they go meet Erica's dad on a boat because there's another kind of plot point going on that they don't have too much time to live together. Erica's dad wants them to kind of have a time limit on how long they're together for whatever reason. And so they go to meet Erica's dad on a boat for dinner. They both admit their feelings for each other. And Erica's dad says, okay, well, it's been half a year and you just found out you have feelings for each other. Maybe y'all should separate and go, live not together anymore. But then Erica brings up a point of like, well, weren't you and mom? Didn't it take you two so long to really get together and do all different type of stuff? And then he finally remembers that. And he's like, oh yeah, that was right. I guess, yeah. It took a while for us before, we had our work. We did all of our things before we finally got together. And then Erica's like, okay, you know what? Well, I want to do that. That's what I want. And so then Erica's dad is like, okay, you know what? Yeah, sure. Keep living together. We're going to talk about more of that later. But yeah, it was just a weird, I don't know. We're going to talk about more of that later. At the end of the day, again, I really like Erica. I want more moments from her. She has, I guess, the only really substantial part of this whole show. And I hope that in the future we get more scenes of her and her finally looking like the main character. Because, again, I really like her. I think her and Nagi has the best relationship in this show. And I think she's had the most development out of anybody on this show. Next girl we're going to is Hiro. Hiro, we discover her because her and Nagi have been rivals in school. Hiro is always the number one in all the tests, always beating Nagi and everything. Eventually it turned to a point where Nagi had feelings for Hiro, confessed to Hiro. But Hiro also has an arranged marriage with another guy that she doesn't want. And so it's kind of like this weird forbidden romance a little bit of like Hiro and Nagi. They both kind of know they like each other. Nagi confessed to Hiro at one point, and we kind of see Hiro likes Nagi as well, and Hiro knows that Nagi likes her. And so we kind of see this weird thing of they both know they like each other, but they kind of can't be together because they're both in arranged marriages to other people. And it's really weird. Well, not weird, but it's just like, dang, they kind of can't be together, but they kind of can. I don't know. Hiro is a bookworm. Again, she's very, very smart, always number one in all things in school. Very, very competitive as well. She really cares about her shrine that her family owns as well. And there's a lot of points where she wants to be the main character. We can get to that in a minute. But yeah, again, kind of treated more of as a number two girl, but it makes more sense that she's a number two girl, So moments with her. Episode 1, right away to start season 2, she moves in with Erica, Nagi, and Sachi because she does not want to meet her arranged marriage partner. And so she wants to run away from home to kind of prove her point to her parents that she doesn't want to do this. And so now she lives with the group. But that ends immediately because in episode 2, she gets taken back by her family back to the shrine to meet her partner. But then Nagi goes over there and Nagi kind of takes her away, runs away with her, and doesn't have a plan. He just kind of runs away with her until they're far away and they end up kind of in the middle of nowhere with not a lot of money. This leads to a conversation that they have, and Hiro kind of spills the beans about everything, telling Nagi about why she's number 1 in school and why she wants to be independent is because she wants to show her family that she doesn't need an arranged marriage partner. She doesn't need all that. She can do this on her own. You know, like she's smart enough. She knows how to take care of herself. All she really wants to do is protect and be a part of the shrine. And I guess the connotation of her marrying somebody is that she has to rely on someone else. But she wants to show her parents that, no, I can do my own thing. I'll pick whoever I want to pick. I'm an independent woman. I can do this, you know? She also talked about why she changed her look because she was looking really nerdy and then she got hot all of a sudden. And at first she wanted to do that because she wanted to be so far above everybody else and so on this pedestal that no one would even talk to her. She wanted to be a loner. She didn't want anybody to talk to her, no friends, no boyfriend, none of that. I want to be number 1 and so far away. 1, to show my parents that I can do that, and 2, so that no one can even have the confidence to, you know, try to talk to me. But then once she realized she liked the attention and she realized that Nagi was going to keep talking to her and keep being around her no matter what, she starts to like it, you know? And we even get an almost confession until Erica comes in and ruins it. Then we go to episode 4, where Nagi goes over to Erica's house to explain that he just got confessed to. And he did it first because he thought he was going to see a kind of blushed and flustered reaction from Hiro. But instead, we get a real yandere presence where she has a knife and she's very just like weird about it, really protective of her relationship with Nagi. Going to episode 5, she's the first one actually to help Nagi escape from the press because she brings him into the career counseling office to study and they have a conversation about it. And this is her first mentioning of her feeling a background character to everybody else, you know, because one of the girls we're going to talk about later, kind of stole the spotlight from her, and it's kind of perceived that Nagi and I are like together even though they're not. And so Hiro kind of feels stupid for it. She kind of feels like a background character. I never get, you know, to be the main character. I'm always in a competition with someone. And before she leaves, she kisses Nagi and then asks him, don't ever talk to me again. Kind of, she just really has a lot of emotions and she's really sad at the moment. Then we get to episode 7, where Nagi and Erica escape from the hotel room. Nagi gets dropped off at Erica's house. And at first, Erica's just like playing like the quiet game on him. With Nagi thinking she's still mad at him, but eventually she's like, oh no, I'm just messing with you. Then she apologizes for what happened in the library and all that. And this is the moment where she decides, you know what? I want to be the main character. I want things to happen to me. I'm going to be independent and I'm going to take what I want and I'm going to make things happen. Then we go to episode 8, where she asks Nagi to help do wedding photo pamphlets for the shrine, wanting to update the wedding photos, you know, with those two together. And it takes a lot of convincing of her parents for it to happen. You know, we even get another almost kind of confession scene in this as well before her dad comes in and kind of ruins it. Eventually they end up getting the permission, and she even has a line in this where she says there's no such thing as a meaningless kiss, referring to the earlier kiss in the career counseling office. And they also invite everybody to the fake wedding for some reason. Like she sends out invitations to the other girls for a fake wedding that they're just doing a photo shoot for. I don't know why. Maybe this could be that she wants everyone else to see them being married and wants the other girls to get jealous. Because again, now she wants to be the main character and she wants these moments. Maybe that could be, I don't know. But then that reverses in episode 9 because one of the girls convinced her to let all of them take wedding photos with Nagi. So, and she even has a line after saying like, well, I'm back to being the background character, I guess. This is supposed to be my moment, and I don't get it. Going to episode 10, where she is the first one to ask Nagi to pair up from the M1. But then throughout their time trying to plan something, she is noticing that Nagi keeps looking at Erica and keeps thinking about Erica. And so eventually she allows him to kind of switch. And even after it, Nagi goes over to apologize to Hiro. But then Hiro explains like, no, it's okay. Because earlier when they were pairing up for it, she said that apparently there's a legend that the two partners that get together and pair up for the M1 and win usually end up together, end up marrying each other. And that's what they want. And so now it turns into, well, you know what? That's okay, because you know what? We're gonna break the curse. We're not paired up anymore. One of us is gonna win. If we get together, that ends the curse. So making it into a cute moment somehow. Then we go to episode 11, the M1, where Hiro actually forfeits the M1 live. And we see her reasoning behind this is because she wants to put the ball in Nagi's court. Basically, her saying, well, now he's going to go all out and win. And he's going to determine how this goes. Because if he goes all out and win, then that means he really wants to break the curse. But if he doesn't, then he doesn't want to break the curse and all that stuff. And eventually they end up bombing, and there actually is no winner from the M1 because Nagi gets into a fight, and so they cancel the M1 that year. And then we go to episode 12, where she's one of the girls that tries to gaslight Erica into thinking what the kiss was. And she goes the approach of it being a familial kiss. You know, now that Erica and Nagi are so close together, it's more like they're a family. You know, a family kiss each other sometimes. Oh, that was just a sweet moment, you know? So she tries to gaslight Erica. And then we get one crazy thing. The post-credit scene in episode 12, the last thing we see before the series ends, is her and Nagi standing outside together in their school uniform, and Erica asks Nagi out. So, again, that's probably gonna be something for season 3, but just crazy that she's trying to stir the pot a little bit. I like Hiro. I think she has a really cute moments, and there's even sometimes at some points in the show where you kind of think, you know what? I kind of want Hiro and Nagi to be together. I think they make a cute thing, you know? But there's also something, especially at the later parts of the season, where it's like she has a different side to her in a way. Like trying to gaslight Erica, you know, trying to, again, make the girls jealous maybe by inviting to the wedding. Like there's some things that she does once in a while that's like, huh. Like she knows what she's doing. Kind of like using her power because they all know that Nagi likes Hiro. Nagi's crushes on Hiro. That's who he wants. You know, and they all know it, and Hiro knows it. So maybe it's like using this to her advantage in a sort of way. I'm not saying she do that all the time, but I think there's some moments where you definitely see that could be influencing things that are happening. But overall, Hiro is solid. Then we get to Sachi, the third girl. Sachi was the younger sister of Nagi until we figure out that they are swapped, which means she's actually Erica's younger sister. And she's actually not even blood related to Nagi in any way. I think you can understand where this is going. Sachi's also younger than them. They're all in high school and Sachi's still in middle school. I think she's about 2-ish years younger than them, which honestly is a key factor that I think when you see a lot of the things she does, the emotions she has, and the decisions she makes, factoring in that she's a middle schooler still and she's still like younger than them, it makes kind of a lot of sense. She's really attached to Nagi. Those two have been like very close since they were little kids. She also gets really jealous of a lot of the other girls, and she really loves her brother. Yeah, she has a crush on him. Okay? Yeah, she does. She hasn't. She admitted it multiple times in her own head. Okay? The thing about Sachi that is interesting is that me personally, I like her. Like honestly, if I was in that situation, wait. Let me word this in a way that I actually want to say it, because that could come out really weird. Okay, hold on. If I was in a similar situation where I was not related to any of them, and I had to choose, me personally, I would pick Sachi as my number one best girl. I don't know. There's something about her that I just really like. She's really kind of like cool, down to earth. She doesn't have as much things going on as the others. I don't know. She's just like, I like Sachi. I do. But there's something that they did between season 1 and season 2 that kind of changed her a little bit. In season 1, she's trying to kind of figure out her emotions toward Nagi while also building a relationship with Erica, her new sister, and all that stuff. And, you know, she likes her brother, but it never gets... There's not too many times where it gets to, like, a really uncomfortable point. At least from what I remember. I skimmed a little bit from season 1 after watching season 2. And there was never any moments I was, like, super uncomfortable and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. You know? Like, overall, they kept it still, like, her trying to figure out her emotions and all that stuff. I feel like in season 2, they kind of said, all right, she likes her brother. Let's turn that up to times 5. Like, there's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of weird. Like, this is kind of like, I don't like this at all, you know? And I'm going to be honest, I know they're not going to end up together. Sachi's not going to win. But I don't want Nagi to have feelings for Sachi. Just for my own personal sake. I understand the show, it's going to happen. because it's the show. But for me personally, I'm rooting against those two from being together. Me personally, that's just what I'm doing. And again, I feel like there's a lot of times where I feel like they kind of changed her a little bit, where they made her a lot more like jealous, made her a lot more like in love with her brother, a lot more than like how it looked in season one, and also made her a little bit of like messy. They made her kind of messy in this season. Some moments from her in episode one, we get a moment where they're hanging out in the backyard by the pool, and she asks Nagi about, his marriage, what is going to happen, and she even says, "You should choose Erica. You already have her. Why do you like Hero?" and all this stuff. And then they get into a little bit of spat, and at the end, Sachi's like, "I don't want you to get married." Basically, kind of like, "I'm not marrying anybody. That means you shouldn't have to marry anybody either." And the thing I'm going to say a lot about Sachi is that she doesn't want anyone to take her brother away from her. Remember that, because I'm going to say that 7 more times about Sachi, because that's kind of like her main plot point, is that she doesn't want anybody to take her brother away from her. Because again, you have to remember, she's still a middle schooler, a kid, a young teen, so she still has kind of like attachment things. And then we go episode 3, where she goes on a date with a guy in her class, and Erica and Nagi follow them around all day to where Sachi knows it. And Sachi even says, it's like, "Hey, yeah, we're dating now. That's my boyfriend." Kind of trying to get a reaction out of Nagi, to where Nagi kind of gets a reaction. It kind of bothers him a little bit. And then at the end, we find out, no, it's just fake. Sachi doesn't. They're not dating. She just went out with him because why not? She did. And then she gets kind of flustered because she realizes it does bother her. Going to episode 5, where her and Nagi go to a amusement park together so there's a cosplay contest at Hero's Shrine, and all 4 of the girls participated, and all 4 of them got a vote, even though Sachi showed up in just her regular middle school outfit, I guess, but she looks older than a middle schooler, so I guess the people bought it. And Nagi actually voted for Sachi at the cosplay contest, and Sachi only went into the contest because she wanted the amusement park tickets. And so with them all tying, they all just say, "Okay, here, you can just have the tickets. We don't even really care about the tickets. You can have them." So Sachi picks Nagi to go to the amusement park with her, and she gets really jealous because she realizes that Nagi's been here before, because they go into the mirror maze and he knows her his way around, and she gets really jealous and mad. That's like, "Dang, why am I always the second with you and everything? Like, why can't I be number one?" But she is number one in something, and that she gave him his first kiss. Yeah, in season 1, they kiss accidentally. It was a power outage and the lights were off and all that stuff, but she is his first kiss. So she plays an important role. Yeah, it's tough, man. Anime, welcome to it. Going to episode 8, she was really worried and could tell there was a lot weighing on her mind when Erica and Nagi went to the hotel room, or were trapped in the hotel room. But when Erica comes back, she goes to the Umino diner and is working there for the week. And she says to Sachi, "Hey, nothing happened there." And Sachi's like, "Oh, okay." And she just brightens up at the end of the day. Also in episode 8, she doesn't attend Hiro and Nagi's fake wedding because of jealousy, I suppose. And then she barges in right at the end and is like, "Hey," crying, Shrek style. Kind of being like, "Don't take my brother away from me." So then Nagi having to kind of console her going into episode 9. And during this consolement, she once again says like "I don't want anyone to take you away from me" and all that stuff. But then also Nagi reflects back on a conversation he had with Erica's dad, particularly his real dad, about Sachi and about, the possibility of her being an option. And Nagi kind of finally opens up and says something that's like, "Hey, I guess I can possibly marry you, right?" And yeah, that happens. And then the entire episode is based on that, because later, because now all the girls are taking wedding photos for Nagi, Sachi kisses Nagi during wedding photos. Yeah, we're making this even more messy. She says it was like not on purpose, it was an accident, all this stuff, but it wasn't really. At least the awkwardness between the two, where Nagi handled the situation really poorly, where Nagi like just keeps outbursting and yelling at her for no reason at all, and he even knows that he's doing the wrong thing, yet he keeps doing the wrong thing because he's really annoying. And so they have just like a little spat about it. They're at the dinner table, very awkward, and then Erica just kind of comes up and says, "Hey, y'all two need to talk. Oh wait, by the way, yeah, hey, that kiss was on purpose. That kiss was on purpose. Talk about that." And she leaves the room, which was crazy how they just drop a bomb that and leave the room. That happens a lot in this show. They're having the conversation to clear things up. And once again, she says, "Don't like the feeling of you, getting taken by somebody." They talk about how they're little kids, like they both kind of knew that something was different about the two of them. They didn't feel like siblings, but they kind of were. And then at the end of the conversation, Nagi basically kind of says things that opens the door for him and her to be together. So yeah, and it's weird how they do this, and they kind of finally have this moment where Nagi finally acknowledges, like, okay, maybe it won't be wrong if we get together. Yet they do nothing with it for the rest of the show. Nothing with it. The only moment she ever has after is in episode 12, where apparently she's the one that told Hiro and I about the kiss, because she was walking by the room and saw the kiss happen. So again, they made her kind of messy a little bit, and I feel like she's the one that kind of tells all the other girls about what's going on, you know. But again, I like Sachi, but they just kind of changed her a lot, I feel like, in season 2 compared to season 1. The final girl we have is Ai. She's the new character. She was not in season 1. She comes in season 2. She comes in and we learn that she's a childhood friend of Nagi. Nagi actually confessed to her when they were little kids before she had to leave to go overseas. And now she's finally back years later to confess to Nagi. And we see her in episode 2. We learn about, you know, the confession and about her moving away and stuff. And then at the end of season 2, Sachi brings her over to the house. Once again, Sachi kind of being messy a little bit. And Ai goes up to Nagi and says, I'm here in Japan. Finally give you my answer on my confession, on your confession. And I'm here to marry you. And then she leaves. Again, she drops a bomb and then just walks out of the house. And it's like, you can't just do that, you know? So in episode 3, a lot is about her and Nagi hanging out. You know, Nagi kind of saying, hey, like, I have a fiance. We kind of can't do this. And I kind of trying all the tactics to try to get Nagi to kind of see her in a different light. You know, kind of using the childhood friend tropes and all that stuff. She even tells an awesome story about when they were kids, they would go to the candy shop and she tried to win the lottery for a Super Bowl, but eventually she kept trying, but it doesn't work and she ends up losing it. And kind of as a metaphor for her saying, I'm not giving up on you, Nagi, and basically inserting herself into the competition. We go to episode 4, where she breaks into Erica's house and she challenges Erica to a darts duel to answer questions. And, you know, if she wins, she wants, you know, to have Nagi for herself. Also in that episode, later, after the darts duel, she takes Nagi away. They have a conversation. And she actually gives a really good explanation. And it was something I was thinking of in the show and I was gonna talk about it until she finally said it. And I was like, yes, that's what it is. Because, honestly, in this show, Nagi is very greedy. And they're all kind of a little bit selfish with the situation that's going on. And Ai gives a really good explanation of it. She uses like a swamp metaphor. But for me, it's kind of like Nagi is being very greedy because he has these 4 girls that he kind of vaguely knows all of them kind of like him. And he likes vaguely all of them. And yet nothing is really happening in this situation. Like, honestly, the situation is getting worse and worse as the days go on. You know, because they're all kind of using this like arranged marriage. Our parents want this, but we don't want this. That's kind of like a safety blanket for them to not really explain their feelings. Like, no one ever explains their feelings. They're all kind of hidden in. They all kind of have to deal with everything going on. And none of them are actually being honest with each other. And it's just creating a weird atmosphere to a point where, again, it's getting worse and worse. As time goes on, they're only getting older. They're only getting more, you know, acclimated with each other. And it's only getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And this could easily be cleared up. And she gives an example of like, you can stand in the swamp. You can stand up. You don't have to just lay in it. You can stand in it and walk away from it by just giving an answer. And that's for everybody. Like, they could just say, okay, you know what? We don't want to get married. And the parents are just going to have to deal with it. Or I want to be with you. And just say your feelings. And it can all be done. Everything, the weird triangle, square, rectangle, whatever this is going on, can just kind of be put to an end. Yet they kind of use the parents and the arranged marriage as kind of like an excuse for all of it. And she gives a really good explanation of it that I really agree with. But then at the end of it, she kind of twists it into putting it into her sake, because instead of ending it like, y'all can just say your feelings and be done with it, she ends it kind of in a way of like, so see, that's why I'm here, because now you can just escape all that and come with me, and we don't have to deal with that anymore and all that stuff, you know. But it was a good, you know, it was a good explanation. It just ended very weird, you know. And she also confesses to Nagi, and that gets his heart beating because that's his first ever confession. Going to the end of episode 4, at the cosplay contest, she reveals herself as this new pop star that made a really popular song, and she face reveals for the first time. So she's a superstar, and that leads to episode 5 because she also makes Nagi famous, which is why Nagi's running for the press, and because she leaks to everybody that Nagi was her first love and that all her music and everything is about Nagi. She even explains this to him when she asked Nagi to come to her house. She has pictures of him all over the wall and all of her music. He basically was the reason why she does music and why she does everything is because of Nagi, and still kind of trying to convince him, to run away with me and let's be together and we can be married and all that stuff. And honestly, it was a cute sentiment. If it wasn't for the situation, I think it would be a nice offer, but again, he's already in the situation and this is only making it worse. The only other thing she does in this show is go in episode 6 where she sneaks into the hotel room to help save Nagi, and she still talks about the plan to marry. She pulls out a 100-year plan she has for Nagi, and she gets into a fight with Erica about everything, and eventually then her and Erica become friends after the fight because they're like, dang, you give a lot of good points, you didn't say anything wrong, I like your attitude, let's be friends. And that's it. Like, to be honest, I don't hate her as a character, but I don't love her as a character because honestly, she doesn't really provide too much to the show. Like, honestly, the show would probably be the same if she wasn't in it. Because again, the only really important thing she does is give Nagi his first confession and have his heart racing. That's really it. Everything else that she did doesn't matter at the end of the day. It didn't really change anything. It didn't change anything about the other girls. It didn't really change anything about Nagi. The only thing that she is now is she's just a new character added to the show. Because after episode 6, she's in all the other episodes, but she doesn't do anything. She's there to kind of just like be there, be a part of a group. She gives us 2 performances, which is nice, but that's really it. Like, Ai is just kind of like a nothing character in this show. Like, she doesn't really provide anything. She's just like the childhood friend trope that we all know is not really going to win. And we only really get like 3 actual episodes of her doing anything. Even the thing she does isn't really impactful at all in the show. There's a lot of other small, weird oddity things going on in this show. Like, that just I saw and I pointed out that it's just like, what? In episode 1, everybody's around the table eating, besides I. Everybody's around the table eating. And Nagi's talking about, like, dang, we're all here together. We're all so different. We're all have different goals and stuff. So why do we live together and why are we here right now? And then he starts crying. And then he leaves. And then after, Erica just happens to be walking by while he's having like a breakdown of like, why is this happening? And Erica says, well, it's maybe because it's happiness. And he's like, maybe it is. And that's it. It never gets brought up at all. Nothing about him crying, nothing about his happiness, nothing about that at all shows up in the show. It was just like a weird thing that just happened, and then it's like, all right, yeah, that happened. And it's like, what? There are 2 potential hero confessions that get stopped because of comedy reasons. The one in episode 2, and there's one in episode 8, I think, or episode 7 or 8, one of those 2 episodes when they're at home with Hiro's parents. 2 confessions that they just stopped because there's a lot of times in the show where it's with big moments, they turn to the comedy aspect of it. Instead of having a big dramatic thing, they just say, okay, then let's have someone barge in on them. Or let's have this comedy thing happen to stop it as like a funny thing. Haha. But we get 2 potential confessions that just don't happen. Another weird thing happening is during the time when they're at Hiro's shrine and Hiro's parents, Hiro's dad at first was like okay with Hiro wanting to marry whoever she wants to, because we find out that Hiro's parents actually are together because of an arranged marriage. And Hiro's dad is kind of sitting with Nagi and is like, hey man, I want her to marry whoever she wants to marry, But then like the very next scene, he kind of is like, no, you're going to marry your arranged marriage and your fiance. And it's like, what? Like, why? Why did he just flip flop like that? What happened? There's another weird scene that happened in episode 10 when Erica and Nagi are trying to figure out what they're going to do for the M1. I don't know if I'm stupid or not, or maybe it was like a subtitle error or something. It was really odd, and I had to replay it 4 times because I was like, what? They're talking about what they're doing for the M1. And they're asking questions to each other, and Nagi asks Erica, okay, what's the weirdest thing that happened to you recently? And Erica's like, well, the weirdest thing that happened to me recently was, and then Nagi says, well, I never tied you up sensually. And then they stop, look up, and then that's just kind of it. And then they kind of both have like an idea of what they want to do for the M1. And it was just really odd. Like, again, I had to replay it 4 times. I was like, am I missing something here? Was there a subtitle error? I feel like it was like a scene got cut out. I don't know what it was. It was just a weird thing that happened in the show, and I was like, what the heck is like what? Erica's dad flipping on his decision to let her and Eric and Nagi stay together was really odd because again, it only took Erica saying one thing. It only took Erica saying, well, you and mom, it took a long time for you guys to get together and you to do stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, it was. I remember. Dang, you know what? You guys remind me of what we were like at your age. Okay, you know what? You could live together. And it's like, that's all it took? Because it was like a multi-episode thing of behind the scenes, Erica and her dad talking about, you know, the deadline and all that stuff. And all she had to do was say that one thing. And he kind of remembered what his relationship was like. And was like, okay, you know what? Sure, you can stay together. I was like, maybe I'm stupid. Let me know. Maybe I'm stupid and I'm misinterpreting it. It definitely could be. It definitely could be for sure. But it was just super odd. And I'm like, what is going on? Finally, the one thing that was really weird is they tease a Shosuke arc. Now, Shosuke is a guy that apparently he is Erika's older brother. Well, technically Nagi's older brother because, again, swap family. And Erika had like, I don't want to say feelings for him like Sachi did with Nagi, but she like had an affection of something towards her. She's important, or he's important to her, you know? And they tease that in season 1, but we don't get anything about it. And then we go in season 2, episode 7, where they're escaping the hotel room and Nagi's about to head out, but he sees his mom or Erika's mom there. And Erika's mom's like, no, okay, y'all can go ahead. I won't tell. Go ahead, do it, whatever. And at the end of her little rant, she says at the end, like, save Shosuke for me. And it's like, oh, whoa. Are we finally getting to know what the Shosuke guy is? Finally. And the only thing that happened after that is we see an opening scene of him sitting in his car outside of Erika's house, to where Nagi comes over and doesn't even acknowledge him, just goes inside, then he drives away. Another scene where he drives by the Umino diner and he just drives off, and Sanji comes in and is like, hey, was that Nagi in a car? Like, that looked just like Nagi. And in the final scene of episode 12, where he's like on a bridge, like looking over the boat where Erika and Nagi are, and he's like, things don't always go as you plan. That's it. That's all we get from it. And it's only weird because they tease him in season 1, they tease him here, but they tease him in episode 7. Like, when you say that, like, save Shosuke for me and all that stuff, that had me thinking, like, oh, is he finally going to be a character in this show? Are we finally going to see what he does or anything? And we get nothing. We get, like, little seeds here and there, but it's just weird to, like, plant that seed in episode 7 when we only get maybe 30 seconds of him the entire rest of the season. So, in season 3, if there is a season 3, which there should be a season 3 probably, he better be the main character. He better be in every single episode, because we're teasing him so much that he's got to be important. And if he's not, then this was for nothing. Also, in this show, it's very fast-paced. Like, I feel like there's a lot going on. I feel like scenes only last like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it's like, okay, we're in and out, in and out, in and out. And a lot of it is just going. And it's a lot happening, but it's also not a lot happening at the same time. Like, I feel like it's like, especially episode 1, I was like, whoa, okay, there's a lot. Like, we have 7 different scenes that just happen. Go. And it's like, it's so much fast pace and so many things happening that it kind of takes a while. Like, there was multiple times throughout episodes where I had to go back and like, okay, let me replay this scene because I really want to understand what just happened. Like, it went in like a minute 45 and I have to go back and really watch it again and really understand what they're saying. Because it's very fast paced, which I don't think is a bad thing, but it's a thing that happens. It's just very fast paced. More overall thoughts on it. After I finished this season, I was thinking, and I was like, from the end of season 1 to the end of season 2, what do we know now? What is different? What has changed from the 24th episode of season 1 to the 12th episode of season 2? What is different? And to be honest, it's not that much. The only thing that has really changed between the seasons is that Nagi and Erika finally admitted feelings to each other, and we have a new character. That's all. That's really the only thing that's different. Like, I'm honestly convinced that you could watch the entirety of season 1, all 24 episodes of season 1, and then just watch episode 11 and 12 of season 2, and you would be at the same point as you would be if you watch all 36 episodes. Like, honestly, no progress has really been made in this show with any of the girls, any of the character development. Like, no progress has really been made, you know? Like, there are a lot of big moments where you feel like something's gonna happen, something's gonna change, and then they just kind of take it away and they bring it back down, and it's like, okay, we're back to square one now. And it's like, okay, like, to be honest, again, the only really thing of substance that happens is episode 11 and 12, where Nagi gets into the fight for Erica, and Erica kisses Nagi in episode 12. There's only 2 episodes that actually really have something where you're like, oh shoot, this is something, you know? When in the first 10 episodes, there was some teasing of some things happening, but it never really transpired into anything, really. And it's just really, really weird. Like, no progress has really been made in all the show. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, am I tripping? So I went to go see some reviews. Other people that watched it, what do they think of the show? Because I was like, am I tripping? Am I just looking at it in a weird light? Am I missing something here? Because throughout the entire season, I didn't really have a lot of moments of being like, oh, or like, oh shoot, here we go, or like, oh man, this is gonna happen. I didn't have any of that excitement at all in this season like that. And so I was like, am I missing something? Am I just looking at it weird? Like, is it me? Am I the problem? And I went to go see some reviews, and other people had some similar things to me. And there was one review that I saw on my anime list. I don't know who it was. Maybe I'll put it up here. I don't know. But they used a word in that review, and I was like, that's it. That is it. That perfectly encapsulates what this season is to me. Flat. It's flat. The season is flat for 2 reasons. One, a flat line. Again, I feel we have not made any progress, and we've just gone really linear with everything happening in terms of character development, in terms of the story, in terms of, you know, finding who's going to win this romance. It's very linear. Like, again, the only progress we've really made is with Erica, a little bit. That's it. But again, they don't give Erica really enough screen time, so we don't have as much progress as we probably should have with Erica. You know, like with Hero, we kind of understand that both of them kind of like each other. Again, 2 confessions that don't happen, and we're kind of back at square one, where it's like, okay, they like each other, but what? Like, nothing really changed in season 2. With Sachi, the only thing that's changed with her is that Nagi's finally acknowledged that they maybe can be together. That's it. Again, with I has not really provided a lot to the story, so I, at the end of the day, it's just another girl in this scenario, and it's not like she's like a clear contender now. She's like number 4, maybe number 3 on the list, but it's like not really like important. Like, no one thinks Ai's ever gonna win anything at all. So it's just like, what is she here for, you know? It's a flat line in progress, and it falls flat in terms of, again, I mentioned multiple times in this video, a lot of times there are moments where it's like, there's a confession gonna happen, there's a big scene gonna happen, a big thing that's gonna change something happen, and it just falls flat, where it's like, okay, that's it. Like, nothing actually happened in that scene. Like, we thought, and then it just kind of dipped back. Like, we were walking up the hill, and then we just kind of stopped. They were like, all right, walk back down, and let's go up this other hill now. And it's like, nothing really has, like, progressed, and it just, the season kind of falls flat to me, which kind of sucks, because, again, I like season 1. Season 1 is good. And I think this happens because there's 2 parts of the genre that I think they switch out. In season 1, there's focus a lot more on the romance side. You know, Erica and Nagi building a relationship. You know, Hiro and Nagi building a relationship. Sachi's feelings, all that stuff. There's a lot more romance. Season 2 is more of a harem show. It's more of just harem tropes and, you know, having all 4 girls together and fighting for him and having him in different moments. It takes the romance and kind of flips into harem. Like, in season 1, romance probably was like number 2 in terms of genres of what it was. This season, it was more towards like number 4 of like genre. And also, season 1, there's a lot more drama. Season 1, there was more like big things that happened. You know, maybe arguments or like a big change or like feelings being realized. Season 1, there was a lot more drama. They took that in season 2 and turned it more into comedy. Like, a lot of the moments they turn into try to be comedic scenes or try to make the characters sort of funny, even though they're kind of not. And so they took the drama of it and flipped it into comedy. They took the romance of it and flipped it into harem. And that's what this show kind of is now. It's like a harem comedy sort of thing. It's just really different from season 1. Now, I'm saying all this, and it probably comes off as me trying to trash this show and trash this season, but it's not, honestly. Like, I'm not trying to trash it. I'm not saying it's a bad or horrible show, honestly. Like, there are some good things about this show. You know, I have my feelings about it because I care more about the romance and like building a romance and all that stuff. But if you're not one of those people that really care about romance anime, I think this is a great show for you. If you like harems, if you like comedy, if you just want to watch something really chill and casual and not really have to be fully invested into something and don't want to be fully invested into a romance between 2 or 3 people and all that stuff, and you just want something casual that you can just sit back and watch and just not really think about it, I think it's good. The animation is good, especially when they're trying to make a funny scene happen. I think they do a good job of conveying that in the animation. Again, there's some funny moments in it. Like, I think it is. I still sat down and watched all 12 episodes of it. And again, I think if you are casual, you're not really a crazy romance guy like me, where I try to find the romance and try to find, certain things. If you're just there for a good casual time with harem and comedy and all that stuff, I think it's a great show for you. I think you should watch it for sure. And honestly, you should go back and watch season 1 if you haven't, because season 1 is pretty good. you know? So my thoughts on it are, it kind of fell flat for me personally, but this is not me saying this is a bad show at all. I'm not trashing it. I'm not saying it's horrible. It just wasn't what I thought it was for me personally. Like it just wasn't what I thought this show, it took a different route than what I thought the route was going. But again, it still can be enjoyable for some people. So overall, at the end of the day, my rating, I guess I'll give it a neutral thumb, one neutral thumb. But yeah, it's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching. More reviews on the way. We got a couple more shows that I'm about to start watching and getting into. And again, we're gonna try to keep the one review a week going. With some more shows from this season, and then at some point we're probably gonna talk about some past seasons I want to do. If you want a review of season 1 of a couple of Cuckoos, which I will happily do, let me know. If this video gets a lot of love, I'll probably maybe do season 1 of it. Who knows? Because I like season 1 and I'll gladly talk about it. Yeah, that's it. If you like the video, hit the like button. Comment something down below. It really helps out the algorithm, I guess. So comment down below. Turn on notifications for this channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're really enjoying it. If you want to see more romance anime reviews and like the content around here, hit the subscribe button. It's free, so it would mean a lot. And yeah, go check out my other channel, Everyday Hoops. It's a basketball channel. It's literally the exact opposite of what we do over here, and it's been popping off, and the NBA season's coming back. So if you like basketball, if you know somebody that likes basketball, let them know about the channel. It'll be linked down below in the description below. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.